Thank you and good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here. I hope I wasn't late or didn't delay anything, but I'm really glad to contribute. I think it's really good that it's in person, that we've a chance to chat over coffee and make the social connections that you need to share information, share inspiration, share where we're going. And this issue of health and the environment is critical. I come back to when I was a kid. I studied ecology in school, and you learn to put interconnection. And we're part of nature. We're not separate from it, and our health is dependent so much on how much we have a healthy environment to live in. And I think that's why this conference and this work, the work that you're all doing in this room, is really important. And it's the 1,410 lives. Is that the estimate that we're losing early? Are people dying early each year because we don't have proper air quality? And that should be motivation enough for radical action and for real ambition. And I'm very glad in terms of there are going to speak about some of the very real advances, but what those figures we just heard show, we still have room to make, huge room to improve. We're in a strange position as a country because actually our natural environment should lend to very good air quality. Such a windy country, an island perched out on the edge of the Atlantic. But that shouldn't lead to any complacency. I think if anything, that should lead towards aiming for pristine, aiming to be the best, given that our natural environment has characteristics that will provide us, if we get our impact with nature right, pristine clean air, which will have huge impact and benefit on health. There has been real progress, and I just want to refer to some of the elements of that from a government perspective as to what we're doing or what we can do together. And the first, I suppose, just to recognise what I think in the last year have been significant developments. The first is the publication last April of our National Clean Energy Strategy to promote and develop policies and measures that will enhance and protect the quality of the air that we breathe. And that means setting out high ambition that in terms of the 2021 World Health Organization guidelines, we're committing to the full alignment by 2040, 17 years' time, and the achievement of interim targets in 2026 and 2030. Why wouldn't we set the World Health Organization targets as our absolute measure of progress and success? Progressing on that pathway will save thousands of lives over the coming years and improve the quality of life for everyone. But they are ambitious, and it won't be easy, as has been highlighted in the recent EPA report. One of the things we've learned in government through COVID, as well as other recent crises, Brexit and others, that it's really important to get outside departmental, or indeed I'd have to say agency silos. The EPA has to work with government in policy development as well as being a separate independent research organisation, because if we're all cut off in separate silos, then we don't, as a small island nation, we need to build on our strength by working together. Interconnection is key. And in that regard, the cross-government Clean Air Strategic Implementation Group has been established to assure the integration of clean air considerations into the policy development across government. And the first meeting of that group was held last Friday. The group will ensure that we are held accountable for delivering on our ambition through a comprehensive cross-government programme of policies and measures that will tackle all sources of air pollution, including priority actions from the transport, agriculture and residential sectors. Each year, the group will produce a progress report on the implementation of the strategy, which will be presented to government. And achieving our ambitions will also need interconnection and involvement and engagement with the public, particularly to deliver the measures which require people to switch to less polluting means of home heating and to make different transport choices. These measures can only achieve maximum success if we gain sufficient levels of public support through increased public awareness, improve understanding and the promotion of positive measures. And last year at this event, we heard that there are significant steps to be taken to ensure that we can sufficiently communicate the importance of action on air pollution and the immediate impacts that it can have on our health. As such, we've also established a strategic communications group which will develop a national clean air communication strategy to address the issue by coordinating our messaging and ensuring it is delivered through the most appropriate channels. This group also met last Friday for the first time. It's really important progress. Transparency, inclusion, and deeper engagement and collaboration with non-government actors and researchers was again highlighted as a priority when we consulted on the development of this clean air strategy. Yesterday, key stakeholder forums for the NGO sector and researchers met for the first time to consider how we can work together more effectively to improve air quality and reduce the associated health impacts. And I look forward to hearing the ideas and the outcome of those and the ongoing work of that strategic communications group, as well as the broader implementation group. It's by working together we will make advances in this. The second major development, particularly in the last year, it's slightly more than a year now, was the introduction of those new solid fuel regulations in October last year. It's too early to say the exact impact. We always knew it was going to take a few years for them to bed in and to be able to demonstrably show the impact on air quality. But the initial indications are that there are significant improvements in many of the areas where localised air quality have been significantly impacted by solid fuel burning. To date, high levels of compliance have been observed in the retail sector as local authorities continue to carry out inspections. However, the unauthorised importation of high-polluting fuels from outside the state remains a cause for concern. We're actively working on a number of projects to reduce these sources of poor quality fuel, including through increased multi-agency checkpoints, through targeting online sale platforms and an enhanced fuel testing programme. And these measures and more will have to increase in the coming year. In addition, we're also developing new legislation to strengthen the enforcement powers of the local authorities to support increased compliance with the regulations. Each year, the EPA's Local Authority Environment Enforcement Performance Report calls on local authorities to deploy more resources to protect their communities from the dangers associated with poor air quality and particularly the pollutants arising from the burning of the most polluting fuels. Government has committed to work with the local authority sector to enhance enforcement through the establishment of a specialised air quality enforcement coordination body. I stand ready to work with the local authority sector to develop a more coordinated and comprehensive approach to air quality enforcement. There has been ongoing engagement with the sector over the past 2 years to develop a shared service that will assist enforcement personnel on the ground to enhance provision. My department has worked with a local government management agency to develop a business case for the enforcement structure to support the provision of the improved coordination, expertise and advice to underpin consistent implementation of air quality legislation across the country. I'd have to say there's a lot of frustration that we have not made faster progress. There has been real improvement and real progress, but we need to go further and faster, and particularly in the area of local authority monitoring and enforcement procedures. And I know that's not easy, but it's something that we have to do. I've been going around the councils around the country, talking to every single council as part of the work I'm doing with the Climate Action Plan. And one of the things I'm saying consistently to local authorities is we need to improve the enforcement in this area. We need to really step up. We need to empower our local authorities, but they can only be empowered when they also take action themselves and show leadership and show ambition and show ability to take on the likes of this smuggling of illegal fuels, which are undermining the businesses that are doing the right thing, undermining our public health. We can and will take that out. We have the legislation. We will put in the legislation and have the legislation on the better fuels towards better fuel standards. It's time to enforce it now to protect the health of our people. Pending the delivery of the new coordination body enforcement, officials from my department have been engaging directly with enforcement personnel on the ground, developing guidance and training, holding workshops, providing funding and supporting the sharing of best practice in relation to a range of legislative obligations that are under the remit of the local authorities. Delivering an enhanced enforcement model must be a priority for the sector in 2024, not just in terms of improving the health of our people, but also, as I said, supporting local businesses who are doing the right thing. The third area of progress, Firstly, the new National Clean Air Strategy. Second, the implementation of those solid fuel regulations. The third is a broader one, which is in the development of a National Climate Action Plan. I'm looking forward to hearing what the Irish Heart Foundation has to say, because they've always, in my mind, had a really positive, forward-thinking view about this issue of our health, particularly of our heart, head, lungs, respiratory systems. It is all connected to our daily levels of activity as being one of the best measures towards health protection. And in what we will need to do to meet our climate targets, I think people don't yet understand the radical scale of change that's coming as we switch away from a car-dependent system to one that's much more based on public transport and the use of walking and cycling, active modes, which will have huge benefits for our health of our people. It's not easy to deliver because it's contentious. We've spent 5-6 decades creating this car-dependent system, but we can and will make the switch, not just for climate reasons, but also for health. And it's the same when you look at the issue of heating in our homes. There's huge benefit for us switching away from fossil fuels and for inferior quality smoky fuel products, and particularly the role of heat pumps there in electrical system. Electrifying everything is what we're going to do. It is a much more efficient system. It allows us to use our local renewable energy power to heat our homes rather than importing fuels. That combined with the switch towards electric vehicles and transport, as well as the switch to active modes and walking and cycling, those three measures, changing how we heat our homes, making it easier to walk and cycle, and changing our vehicles away from the use of fossil fuels, will have an incredible positive impact, improving our health quality at the same time that we introduce the other strategies. And that's, as Climate Minister, Minister of Environment, we're committed, we're going to deliver those changes. It'll take a decade to really take the big steps, but they are coming and they're going to have a particular important role. Lastly, I'd say just to commend the EPA and to give us confidence that we're on the right track, or that we can deliver the level of ambition that we've set out. I think firstly, I was just talking to Micheál on the way in, reminding that where we've gone from, what was this, Micheál, you were saying about 30 of our monitoring stations, only 10 of which were online, to now by the end of this year, I think it'd be 116, all online, all connected to 3-day monitoring reporting systems, which will give us better protection and better kind of local authority management in terms of how we address this issue. I think the role of the EPA in the policy, as well as in the enforcement, monitoring, researching area, is critical. I want to commend you and the agency and the authority for what it's doing. I look forward to hearing my co-panelists, and I hope that everyone else here today has a really positive sense from the meeting, and we learn from each other as we deliver the pristine air that our people deserve and demand. Thank you.